Why do you think everyone's going into debt? I mean, you guys are a multi-platinum group. The tours, I'm sure, are making tons of money because the tours were all sold out or
tons
close
of money
to
was
sold
being
out.
made, but tons of money was being spent. And it was a lot going on, man.
It's a big production.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah. And so, you look back and there was vendors. There was a bunch of people that we ended up at the end of the day owing after the tour was over. It was crazy. When I tell you crazy, that was the first time I ever experienced that myself. And I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, Ricky Bell, who I interviewed, he was saying right around that time, things started getting bad for him.
Yeah.
He started getting deeper into his drug addiction, cocaine, oxy, alcohol. He almost died from a cocaine overdose. Ended up in rehab.
I didn't know any of that stuff for the longest.
I mean, he lost his house.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, I think he was telling me in the interview he had to sell his boots or something just to make a little bit of money. I mean, this is a multi-platinum, like a 10 times platinum artist having to sell his shoes just to get by.
I mean, at that time, I still didn't know the significance, the depth of how bad it was or how strong the addiction was. Because the day that I got out, I called my dealer. After 30 days of rehab, I called my dealer.
So you got out and got some more coke?
Exactly.
Wow.
And so for the last 16 years, it's been a thing of like, okay, I'll get 6 months sober, relapse, 5 years sober, relapse, back and forth. 6 different rehabs. I don't know how many different relapses over the last 16 years, but even now, I sit here at 2 years and 7 months sober. One time I remember selling my boots, my Timberland boots.
Really?
That had I designed myself. They had like my initials and autograph and just something that I was just keeping. And I remember one day just looking around the house for whatever, like finding old video cameras to whatever it is I could take to the pawn shop or give to the dealer to get $50 worth or whatever.
Wow.
For me, that was like the lowest. And even then it was just, like it didn't register to me at the time, like, oh, this is low, like this is my bottom.
But I ended up having to do the same thing. I had to sell I didn't lose my house, but I ended up having to sell it. It was like life, everything had just gotten to a point where it just gotten turned upside down. And I remember having to give up stuff from the studio stuff, the things of values that I did end up giving to the IRS as value, my cars, to all that stuff. And it was just like, I'm like, how in the hell did I get here?
Right.
And what did
this
I
is something
do?
an unsuccessful artist is supposed to go through.
Exactly.
Not a multi-platinum artist.
And I would have felt better at least if I had been doing drugs and was out here doing, then I could have done, and I can go, hey.
All right, it's my fault.
Yeah, exactly.
But in this case.
I'm just sitting there going, shit, I didn't do nothing.
Right. And you're
besides
broke.
Work. And
you're broke along with everyone else.
I'm just like, man, this is crazy. So.
I mean, if you were to, at this point, at your age, looking back on it, what was it? Was it people stealing? Was it you not understanding the business? What was it?
A lack of education, absolutely.
Okay.
Listen, if you think about, even at that point, at that time, we had to be in our 20s, I'm assuming. That was what year? That was
you were 31 at the time.
31, so I'm 30.
Yeah.
Think about some young guys that comes from the projects, and even though I didn't come from the projects, the lack of education that we had about money, we didn't understand none of that stuff. And if you go back and think about how much money went through our hands, even if the record company had stolen from us and all the other things that have happened, the money we made on tour still was enough money that if you was educated and had, that at least under your belt, you still could have ended up, all of us could have ended up still being just fine.
Yeah.
So it was a lack of education of understanding money and understanding how to handle the money. Because still through it all, there was a lot of money, millions that went through our hands.
Well, yeah, and it's not like New Edition, this is the first time they had money problems. I remember their first tour, me and Ricky were talking about this, how they went on this crazy sold-out tour. They came back and got $1.87.
Yeah.
A check. They said $1.87, which is the police code for murder, by the way. Which is
My
kind of
dear-
ironic. But that's what I'm saying. Like they had been getting fucked up
Yeah,
money wise and going through these issues all while selling millions of albums. So it's like by that time you would think that it would have gotten worked out, but no.
And for me, I didn't have that issue. So you got to understand, my first time
You got dragged into that
was
whole thing,
doing
yeah.
this home again.
Yeah.
And my dear brother and dear friend Barry Bonds, I'll never
Barry Bonds,
forget.
okay.
Barry came to the house. Barry and I used to hang out, and I remember him coming to my house in Encino. Years, maybe a year or two, even before that, before the home again stuff. And he goes, dude, there's a computer and look, this is what it does. And you could tap in to see all your stuff in your account and you could do this and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I get out of here with that shit. And I was like, all of us, we used to think Barry was crazy because we was just like, he's like a freaking nerd. Because we was thinking, he used to talk about all this computer stuff. And it was like, and my thought, because I was just, I was kind of like intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
All of us, most people, when we were first introduced to the computer world, we were intimidated about it because it looked like some stuff only nerds, some brainiacs could only identify with.
Yeah.
So for me, while he's trying to tell me about learning and getting connected where you could see if your accountant's taking any money out because you can tap into your account and blah, blah, blah. And he's sitting there giving me all of that stuff. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but I got a house full of girls and I'm going, yo, let's get the party started. Shoot.
Yeah.
I didn't think twice about the stuff.
Yeah.
And he was the one that was trying to teach me and put me up on it, on getting and understanding my finances. I look back later and we laugh about it to this day. He was like, dude, I tried to. I was like, shut up, I know.